What's going on YouTube? You got Hendo here, and today I'm bringing you my draft analysis from the I.L.L, the Indigo League of Legends. Now, if you're following my Twitter, you're going to know that I did end up joining this league very recently, and we just now finished our draft yesterday. I did record another draft video, but it recorded stuff that wasn't me talking, so here's me redoing it. If you guys aren't familiar with draft format, it's very different than VGC. I would suggest you reading it up because there's a lot more to take into it than you playing in VGC. So go ahead and read into it and look them up on YouTube. Look us up on YouTube, the Indigo League of Legends, the I.L.L, and I promise you won't be disappointed. So if you can already tell on the screen, the team name and our mascot is yours truly, Darkrai, and we are the Detroit Darkrai's. You know, have to represent the hometown there. And now, I was new to the season with a couple other individuals, so people who were there last season were able to franchise tag other Pokemon. So because they were able to franchise tag, us newbies had a kind of a pre-draft, which is kind of like a free pick, which is more than likely our franchise tag. And I'm not sure exactly who got franchise tagged exactly, but I know Metagross did, Clefable, Weavile, and a couple other select mons as well. And I wasn't able to pick Metagross, which I obviously wanted. Weavile was a good second pick, and for my pre-draft I picked Conkeldurr, and I kind of wish I would have thought a little more different on this, because I felt like my first pick had to be like the best, because I had the second overall in the pre-draft, but Metatrek actually went before me, and I feel like I made a mistake not drafting a Mega, because right after this, Charizard X and Charizard Y both got picked fairly close to each other. Charizard Y in the pre-draft, and then Charizard X got hit second overall in the first round. But I'm not too upset with Conkeldurr. If you couldn't already tell, he has a plethora of abilities that I could choose from, between Guts, Iron Fist, and Sheer Force. More than likely it's going to be a Guts, because if you're not familiar, draft is very status and hazard heavy. Probably going to only run Assault Vest on Conkeldurr, because that's really the only viable set to ever run on Conkeldurr. I may try and be a little cute with it every now and then, because that's what draft is all about. But I really like him because he's one, bulky with Assault Vest. He's got base 105 HP, 95 defense. The 65 defense isn't much unless you put Assault Vest on. So I'm very happy I got Conkeldurr. With 140 base attack, knockoffs are going to be doing hell of a lot of damage, and knockoff is a very, very crucial move here in draft. So coming after that, after me was drafted Houndoom, Garchomp, Terrakion, and Charizard Y in the pre-draft. Now, starting off in the draft, I had the very first official round was 6th overall, and I felt like this had to be this pick had to be very crucial to me. And I picked Mew. And the reason why I picked Mew is, one, it's a very, very popular pick. It's very versatile in draft format, being because he has access to every TM available. Base 100 stats means he can go either way. Bulky, attacker, setup. He has access to Baton Pass, Defog. He can be a rock setter. He's also not weak to rocks, so he's a reliable Defog user that I have on my team. He also has access to Will-O-Wisp, which is, again, very nice. Yeah, he's outclassed by like Mega Slowbro and Cresselia, but Mega Slowbro was already picked, and I actually picked Cresselia in the 3rd round, and I'll get to more of that in a second. But Mew also has access to a reliable recovery and soft boiled, which only a few other pokes can actually get that. and I was very excited that I was able to pick Mew this early. It was a very good pick. It was either between him or Celebi, and I feel like Mew's more versatile than Celebi, so I decided to pick Mew. Probably going to be more of a Rocks user setup. Possibly might try a Baton Pass now and then, so be on the lookout for Mew. I might even try a franchise tagging at the end of the year, but we'll see how it goes. So round 2, I had the 9th pick because we did snake draft, and I did draft Cresselia, but as you're gonna see, it's not on my team anymore. I drafted that, or I traded that later in the draft for an 8th and an 11th round, because after I drafted Cresselia, it was pointed out to me that I lose hard to knockoff at this time. So I was like, ugh, can't have that. So going to the 3rd round, I had pick 6 again, and I picked Raikou. Now, out of all the electric types I could have picked, I picked Raikou. I felt like it was the best. One, because me personally, I'm a bulky type person. I prefer bulk over sweepers and everything like that. And Raikou does actually a couple things. He's one especially bulky, based on your special defense, just like Mew. He's also got base 115 special attack and HP. Or no, not HP, speed. Sorry. So not only is he fast, not only can he take a hit, but he's also very reliable in knockouts. People are probably going to be reading a Calm Mind set, which is probably the best way to run Raikou. Calm Mind, Thunderbolt, HP Ice depending, and like Volt Switch, stuff like that. What else can I say about Raikou? You can run him choice specs as well. You can give him Assault Vest even to bulk up more of his special defense. Not that it's really needed. But he has access to Volt Switch. I'm a very big fan of Volt Switch and U-Turn. Like I said, he can function as a Calm Mind sweeper. He doesn't have as good physical bulk, which is unimpressive, pretty much without a boost. And he's easily handled by special walls, but he still manages to shine, being an OU tier. He's outclassed obviously by Thundurus, but Thundurus also lacks defenses, which Raikou actually excels in. So Thundurus actually didn't go for a while, but I felt like I wanted Raikou because I wanted bulk over losing to HP Ice, and seeing how Weavile was an early, or was a franchise tag, I couldn't hold that threat to myself. So that was Raikou. And then the next pick, 4th round, I had pick number 9. At this point, a bunch of dragons and steel types have been picked at this time also, as well as darks, and it really made me think I need some sort of early check to that. And Sylveon was already taken. Who else was taken? Klefki, DNC. Let's see who else was taken. Togekiss was taken. Azumarill. Gramble was even taken early, and I wanted to get him in a later round, but somebody decided that. And then somebody also had Mega Gardevoir, Altaria. So all of these fairy types were going fast, and I wanted a decent one to pick up. And the one that stood out to me was Whimsicott, mainly because it's a prankster user, and it's a very, very fast prankster user, base 116 speed. He doesn't have very much decent other defenses, but Prankster definitely makes up for that. He's got access to Encore Prankster. He also has access to U-Turn, Stab Moonblast, Giga Drain. People who drafted Gastrodon or Quagsire, which nobody did, I have outs to that. He also has access to Tailwind, so I have priority Tailwind if I really want to get that up. Something I could also see very effective is Prankster Encore with a U-Turn. So definitely lock somebody into a non-attacking move like Protect, U-Turn out, bring somebody out, force a switch, and set up from there. So you could also run Choice Specs, because it also has access to Hurricane, and Hurricane is a very powerful flying type move. Yeah, he doesn't get stabbed, but that 30% chance to flinch, backed up with Choice Specs and that amazing base power. I'm not sure exactly what the base power is. Base power 110 has a 70% accuracy, but if you land that hit, it's gonna be more than a scratch on almost any poke that doesn't resist flying or has general bulk, because base 77 special attack isn't gonna do much, but you can always invest in special attack. After that, also, I've been noticing that the megas were going down, and one of the only OU megas left was Pinsir. And I decided, hey, he has stab quick attack with aerial ace, I'm sorry, stab return. If I want to get really cute, stab giga impact. If I really wanted to land a knockout, he works well with a swords dance set. He has access to close combat, earthquake. Unfortunately, his only stab that is really reliable is X scissor. And he also learns Bug Bite, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he learns Bug Bite. But X Scissor is going to be more viable. I don't know if I'm going to run X Scissor, but it really just depends on the matchup. Not only is he has access to flying stab with any normal move, but the 155 base attack for Mega Pinsir is just phenomenal. Back that up with 105 speed, and he's got decent bulk outside of HP. 120 defense, 90 special defense. Obviously it evens out with 65 HP, but he's got decent bulk for a bug type, and I'm very excited to welcome Pinsir to the Detroit Darkrise. Enough about Pinsir. Now my next pick. One of my favorites, and you're going to hear in the interview that I had on the I.L.L YouTube. I'll link it down below. A very, very favorite of mine in both VGC and draft format was Milotic, and I was lucky enough to pick it up. Yeah, his attacking move pool isn't as versatile. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. Isn't as deep of a pool as other water types, but I felt that because I have Mew, who can be a rock setter, Milotic also benefits as being a phaser, has access to Dragon Tail, has amazing bulk, 95 base HP, 125 special defense, 100 special attack, so it can still do a hit, access to Marvel Scale. With a format like this, statuses are going to be rolling around everywhere. So, Marvel Scale is going to play a huge role, as well as competitive. There's a lot of Intimidate users, which I was debating on either Milotic or Bisharp. And I was leaning a lot towards Bisharp because after a Defiant boost, Knock Off, Sucker Punch, anything stab like that, it's going to hit really hard. But Bisharp was actually sniped for me, so I decided, hey, I'm going to be happy with Milotic. Access to Ice Beam, Scald for burns, has access to Recover as well. I'm pretty sure I can use Toxic too, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it can, it can learn Toxic, so it can easily Toxic stall if I wanted it to. But I was very happy with Milotic. I needed a bulky water type because they're all getting taken up at this point. I didn't want to choose Gastrodon or Quagsire because I wanted to just have enough experience with them, and I have experience with Milotic with VGC. So next pick, round 7. I seen one Dragon type still on the board, and I actually wanted to get him because with the right setup, this mod can actually hit pretty hard. So I decided to draft Haxorus in round 7. Haxorus is nothing to turn your nose to as far as being a mod. No, he's not as bulky. I mean, he has 90 defense, 70 special defense, and 76 HP. No, he doesn't really take a hit, but he has access to Mold Breaker. And if you have Mold Breaker with the 147 attack, Earthquake is hitting anything beyond flying types. So anything with levitate is going to hit hard without bulk. Anything with, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but actually I'm not even going to go on to that. So Mold Breaker, great move. With the 97 base speed also, if you Dragon Dance, it's gonna hit hard. It's gonna outspeed a lot of pokes. It's gonna. I'm just happy I got Haxorus. I don't have much more to say other than Outrage Lumberry after a D dance is gonna wipe the floor with mons outside of Fairy and Steel. So after Haxorus was the 8th round, and I had 2 picks. Now there's a couple lower tier megas still on the board, and I had my eye on 2, mainly because of the walls. So Mega Aggron and Mega Steelix were in my eyes. Mega Aggron got sniped, so I said, alright, let's go with Steelix. So I decided to go with Steelix and Mega Steelix, simply for walls and to have a Steel type, because if you didn't know, I didn't have a Steel type at this time. So I didn't really have a big check to fairies. And there was one individual who drafted Tyranitar very early. So I kind of have an out to his Tyranitar when he brings the sand. So Mega Steelix, obviously, 230 base defense, and even Steelix has 200 base defense. So it's going to take a really nice physical hit. 95 special defense isn't nothing to laugh at either. Speed 30. The individual who I traded Cresselia to has a Trick Room team, so I kind of have an quote-unquote out to a Trick Room team, or at least some sort of check to it. So I'm very happy I picked Steelix. Access to Toxic. I can even use Steelix as a Stealth Rocks user as well if I really wanted to. If I didn't want to waste it on Mew. And then my second pick of round 6. I actually thought about this one. I had to, with this and the next pick, I had to consult one of my buddies, and excuse me, I take a drink. My mouth is drying out. And somebody really stood out to me that lasted this long, especially because of his ability. Because the only other mon that I'm aware of with his ability isn't legal. So I drafted Kecleon. Because of protein, strictly because of protein. Simply because if I need a stab for any certain mon and I don't want to bring one in, Kecleon can stab on any move he gets. Plus, he has access to Shadow Sneak, and once again, if I really wanted to, Stealth Rocks he has access to. So Life Orb on the protein with some decent EV investment in his attack stat, he's going to throw out a hit. No, he's not fast, but he is also another Trick Room check that I was taking into account when I traded off Cresselia. Because it was actually, I think it was like 1 or 2 rounds before this that I traded off Cresselia for these rounds, for these picks. So Kecleon mainly just for protein, and I don't want people using him against me because I know they're going to know more shenanigans than I am. So with this next pick, I talked to my buddy, and he said, you know who actually isn't that bad of a pick for its tier? And I said, what? He said Quillfish. I said, let me do a little more research on Quillfish. So one is the poisons, another check to fairies. It has Intimidate. With its defense stat, it's not the best, 75 defense, but with Intimidate, it's going to make him a lot more bulkier. Not only that, but my loader can phase, and I now have access to not only spikes, but toxic spikes. So I can put all of his mons, bars, steel types, and poison types, on a timer if I double toxic spikes. I have an ability to have 2 leftovers on the team in the form of Black Sludge with Quillfish. Access to Taunt, Scald, Waterfall, Explosion. There's not much that I can do with Quillfish, but the stuff that I can do and the sets that I can run on him are very, very effective for my team that I have right now. The next pick is kind of a toss up. So I feel like I could have drafted better this round, but I decided to go with Rotom Fan. Basically because, one, I didn't have a ground immunity at all. And because I got rid of Cresselia, which has Levitate. Pinsir's my only, well, at this time, my only ground immunity, and I didn't want to just rely on that, just get rid of it. So I decided to go to Rotom Fan with Flying. The stats aren't really anything to laugh at either. It is bulky. I'm going to be saying bulky a lot because like I said, my playstyle is bulky and hit hard, which is what Rotom does. 107 on the defenses and 105 in the special attack. He's not fast, but with the right speed investment, he's gonna do some hits. Access to Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch, and also Air Slash. Air Slash is very nice, simply because of the hacks it can do with Thunder Wave that I also have access to. So I can do para hacks. People are probably gonna get mad at me, but you gotta do what you gotta do to win, man. In the last round, I also had 2 picks, and I decided to use my first one on another Mega, which is Mega Banette. Probably my second all-time favorite Mega, behind, or tied second with Beedrill. Mega Banette mainly because it's Prankster and its monstrous attack stat. If the page will load, I can let you guys know, but access to Prankster Destiny Bond can definitely take out some threats, as well as Prankster Will-O-Wisp. If I want an attacking move, Hex also has access to Knock Off, Gunk Shot to help check fairy types. Its attack stat, like I said, is monstrous. 165. That's gonna hit hard. I'm pretty sure it also, yeah, it has access to Shadow Sneak as well. So not only can I have all the priority in the world by having 3 status moves and Shadow Sneak, but that's always going to be attacking first at this point. You can also Pursuit Trap people, if anything. It has access to Recovery in the form of Pain Split, which, once again, is priority. And I can put those mons that are actually on a timer through Toxic Spikes on even more of a timer with Pain Split. So I was happy with that. And the last mon, I was actually surprised it wasn't picked up because its Speed Boost form is banned. So I checked, and I double checked, and I triple checked, I even quadruple checked just to make sure that I was able to use Blaze. The Blaziken is probably one of the best fire types that was on the board left, aside from Moltres. I kind of regret not picking a decent fire type, but some people actually drafted more mons than they're supposed to. So I'm going to see if they drop any fires, and if they do, I might drop Blaziken for them. I like Blaziken though because you can go either way with him. You can go mixed as well. He's got 120 attack, 110 special attack. HP is meh, his defenses are definitely weak, and he has a lot of weaknesses. Ground, flying, psychic, water, rock. Actually, I think rock's neutral, but you catch my drift. Blaziken is definitely going to be like a sweeper. If I really need the fire stab here, and him and Kecleon are my fire stabs, and that actually worries me that they're fragile. Actually, Kecleon's more especially bulkier than Blaziken, but anyway, fire stab is definitely going to be something I'm struggling with, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. But overall, I was pretty happy with my draft. The first video actually goes up for the league April 11th. Mondays are starting that day. Mondays are going to be the upload days. So be sure to be on the lookout. I'll link the YouTube and the Twitter for the I.L.L. in the description below, as well as my Twitter page if you haven't already checked it out, because that's where I post all my updates. I hardly post it on Facebook anymore. So your best bet to catch me is on Twitter. So go ahead and check me out on Twitter. I have it there as well. I'm also starting a new series soon. I'm just trying to get life situated, my job, and as well as move into a new place that's closer to my job. Man, that was a lot of talking. And I didn't drink a lot of water. But let me know what you guys think about my draft. once again, it was my very first one, so I feel like I could have drafted better at this time. But overall, once again, I'm pretty happy. I'm stoked for my first draft league. And let me know what you guys think. And until next time, Hendo out. I.L.L.